Hi everyone, I'm Chris Pesce. I'm a co-founder of the Sober Grid app. We found success through Alcoholics Anonymous, which is a program that's kind of centered around the concept of peer support. So one person in recovery helping another. And we realized, there were barriers to accessing this kind of support where and when people need it. So there aren't meetings available 24/7. They're not in all geographic locations. People lack transportation, they lack childcare, and meetings don't necessarily appeal to everyone. And we realized that with technology, through an app, we could remove those barriers to access and enable people to connect with peers for support 24/7. It differs from Facebook, for example, in that we hear from many of our members, I started in recovery and I had to detox my social network. I had to get rid of my Facebook because all my drug dealers were on Facebook, all my drinking buddies were on Facebook. Or I didn't feel comfortable sharing about my recovery on Facebook because I'm connected with my family or with colleagues or with people that don't know I'm in recovery. And so Sober Grid is really a community where people can share with others with that same experience, who understand it, who get it, who are there and available to help one another 24/7. So some of the main components of the app are a newsfeed, which is accessible to the entire Sober Grid community. Right now that's over 80,000 individuals across the US and even some folks internationally, and we're growing pretty quickly. And so people are sharing on that newsfeed 24/7, and they're sharing positive things, inspirational things, their sobriety milestones, things that they're proud of, and they're also reaching out when they're struggling. So we see people who just found the app because they were struggling. They searched online things to help them with alcoholism or with drug addiction, and they're posting on that newsfeed things like I'm new to this. What do I do? And people are sharing their experience, and they're connecting both through the newsfeed as well as with one-on-one private chat, group chat. There's also a geolocation functionality, so you can find and connect with others around you. And so really through Sober Grid you can connect both digitally to this global community that's active 24/7, as well as find others in person to connect with, to meet up for coffee or to really build that support network in your local community. Aside from the features that I mentioned, such as the two-step verification, we are actually working on some machine learning technology right now. So we're working on a project. We received some federal grant money to build predictive analytics into the application. The goal of this project is to hopefully enable us to spot relapse before it occurs. We have this wealth of data, and using this we can hopefully identify when members are struggling and in need of support so that we can better deliver that support in a timely fashion at those critical moments. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly stigma attached to addiction, and we recognize that, and we realize that people are going to be are often hesitant to come out and say, listen, I'm struggling with this. And we know that addiction is a disease of isolation. And so people often don't know that there's help available or that others are dealing with the same issue. And so that's why it's very powerful when you have a tool like Sober Grid. We need to remove this stigma because that's keeping so many people from reaching out for help or from asking for the support that they need. So we're really trying to overcome that and have addiction be recognized as a disease as opposed to a choice that people are making. Right now we've grown to over 80,000 individual members using the app, and we've asked our members, we've surveyed them to find out where are you in your recovery, why are you using this app, what are you hoping to get from it. And it was really interesting. About half of the people surveyed indicated that they were new to sobriety or that they were still struggling, and they were using Sober Grid in order to find support and to get support. But roughly the other half of the people who responded said they were in longer term recovery, so 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they were using Sober Grid to provide support. to help other people, to help new people as part of how they maintain their own recovery, right? They ensure their own sobriety because part of their program of recovery is helping other people, and that helps them. So it was a really nice compliment to see that. And it explains why, for example, one of the features in Sober Grid is what we call, borrowing a term from AA, a burning desire button. And so, when somebody's struggling, the telephone often weighs a million pounds. It's very difficult to reach out for help in that moment, to pick up the phone and call people. Or oftentimes it's late at night, or people don't pick up the phone. With the Burning Desire button on Sober Grid, if you click that button when you're struggling, it puts out a call for help to the community around you. It highlights your profile in red on the grid. It highlights your post in red on the newsfeed. It alerts the community that you're struggling and that you want them to reach out for support. And this kind of, the complement of users is why that works. So we see people turning on the Burning Desire, and within a few minutes they're getting 5, 10, 15 replies from folks who are saying, they're sharing their own experience, they're offering support, they're offering to connect one-on-one through private chat or even to have a conversation. So that's why it works.